The thylacine, also known as the Tasmanian tiger or Tasmanian wolf, was a carnivorous marsupial native to Australia and New Guinea. It was a unique and fascinating animal, but its success as a predator varied over time and in different environments. The thylacine was hunted extensively by European settlers due to its perceived threats to livestock. Human activities, habitat destruction, and disease contributed to their rapid decline. But this brings up the big question: while they were alive, how successful were they on the Australian environment? Well, I'll kick it off with, of course, one of the big things that we'd need to know about it: the physical appearance. The thylacine was about the size of a medium to large dog, with males being the larger than the females on average. They measured around 100 to 130 centimeters or 39 to 51 inches in length, excluding the tail. They stood about 60 to 65 centimeters or 24 to 26 inches tall at the shoulder. Its body shape was distinct, with a sleek appearance, being slim and elongated with a stiff tail at the end. It resembled that of a kangaroo. This gave them a unique stance when they stood up on their hind legs. On average, the weight of an adult thylacine was between 15 to 30 kilograms, or 33 to 66 pounds. Males were generally larger than the females, being heavier and weighed closer to the upper end of the range. Meanwhile, females tended to be smaller and lighter, falling more towards the lower end of the weight range. Their fur was short, coarse, and usually sandy or yellowish brown in colour, with some faint dark stripes or spots across their body, which led to being named the so-called Tasmanian tiger. The abdomen and the insides of their legs were lighter in colour. Their head was wolf-like in shape, with a pointed snout and powerful jaws. Also a hot point with the thylacine's jaw is that it could nearly open at a point of 90 degrees, which is almost unheard of. It also had a bite estimated to be between 300 to 400 psi, although that cannot be confirmed as there is no live specimens to test. They had rounded, erect ears similar to those of a fox, and their eyes were typically amber coloured. As referenced before, the thylacine's tail was long and muscular, with a thick base and tapered down to a pointed tip. The tail had a few dark rings towards the end. As an apex predator of its ecosystem, the thylacine hunted a variety of prey. This included the solid wallaby and kangaroo. Despite wallabies and kangaroos being strong, solid, and muscular, thylacines were just as skilled in their hunting. They would often ambush their prey or chase them over a short distance before relying on their powerful jaws and sharp teeth to subdue them. Thylacines would also hunt birds, small mammals including possums and bandicoots, as well as the small reptiles which littered Australia's landscape. Not only this, but they would have likely consumed insects and any other smaller animal when the opportunity arose. This prey circle expanded with the settlement of the Europeans, in which they would also hunt their livestock, which included sheep. Their hunting strategy typically involved stalking, using their excellent sense of smell and hearing to locate their prey. Once close enough, they would pounce on their target and deliver a powerful bite to subdue it. Thylacines were mainly nocturnal hunters, meaning they mostly were active during the night, which allowed them to take advantage over the cover of darkness to surprise their prey. Although they were a successful native predator, that didn't mean they were uncontested. The arrival of dingoes approximately 4,000 years ago caused major issues. Dingoes, being pack animals with a social structure, allowed them to work together and take down larger prey. Their jaws, while not delivering the same bite force, were able to take more stress and pressure, which assisted them in taking down larger prey. On the other hand, the thylacines were mostly solitary hunters, or at the very most in pairs, which put them at a disadvantage when they had to compete with the cooperative hunting of the dingoes. As dingoes expanded their range across Australia, they likely outcompeted thylacines for resources such as food, territory, and suitable habitats. The more adaptable and effective hunting strategy of the dingoes, combined with their ability to compete for the same prey, likely contributed to the decline of the thylacine population in the mainland Australia. It's hypothesised by the Australian Geographic that the increase in the Aboriginal human population alongside with competing dingoes directly caused them to disappear from mainland Australia 3,000 years ago. Luckily, due to being isolated on the island of Tasmania, they were able to prolong their species' lifespan for another few thousand years. However, this decline was finalised by the expansion of European settlement on Tasmania. Not only did they introduce dogs, which were shown to be a known competitor, which outcompeted the thylacine time and time again, the humans would kill them, considering them a pest to their livestock. Ultimately, the last thylacine passed on the 7th of September 1936, only 2 months after the species was granted a protected status at the Zoo of Hobart. It was estimated that once there were around 5,000 thylacines in Tasmania at the time of European settlement, and now there's none. Now, in my opinion, the thylacine was a successful predator, being an apex in Australia's native food web. However, unlike to many of Australia's native fauna, its failure was being overly adapted into its specific environment and hence wasn't able to compete when non-native animals were brought to the nation. Sadly, this shows that although the thylacine was a successful predator, it simply had its faults, and it couldn't compete with the dingoes forever. It's a shame that we couldn't further study this special marsupial, but hope isn't all lost. With the advancement of science, there is a chance that humanity can right its wrongdoings of the past and resurrect the thylacine. However, this is just a big chance, and that's if science allows us to do this. Other than that, we can only look over the remains and study for what we know. Either way, I hope you all enjoy, and if you have any other potential topics you want me to cover, don't forget to comment them below. Hope you all enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.